On the next episode of Kevin and Andrew Have a Podcast.
I am the first person to admit that, and this is good.
You got caught, didn't you?
I got caught. Okay. So if you listen to this on Spotify or iHeart or Apple or Google Podcasts, thank you so much. There is a video version of this. So if you're watching this right now on YouTube or Facebook video or Facebook Watch, you're about to see the picture that I'm going to show you guys.
Well, hello, everybody. It's Kevin and Andrew Have a Podcast, Season 1, Episode 13. My name is Kevin O'Neill, along with Andrew Caravella.
That's my dance. I have to do a dance now.
I know, you do that every time.
Well, I mean, the last two episodes, you know.
I know you do it.
Yeah,
I have to invent a dance now. You don't have to do that.
Put the fingers in there, right? Yeah.
That's right. Well, it's a new week, Episode 13. How you doing, Andrew?
I'm doing okay, I guess. Man, what a crazy week, Kevin.
Oh, man, I just want to start over. This is a terrible week.
I know. Like, I mean, we just got to get it out of the way. We're recording this right now on a Friday, and just a few hours ago, Chadwick Boseman, who played the King T'Challa, Wakanda Forever, the Black Panther, he passed away from colon cancer, battling it for 4 years, Kevin.
Did you even know that? Did you even know he was battling it?
No.
I didn't either.
Like, it was kind of like nonchalant. And I mean, the good news is he doesn't have to be in pain or suffer anymore. Like many people, I know what it's like to lose somebody to cancer. So it's just a shocker because he was up and coming. I mean, you know, he had a couple great movies under his belt, and he was a great role model. Gone too soon, literally gone too soon.
43 years old, brother. 43. Yeah. That is too young. I'm sorry, that is too young. I've seen so many people pass away. I had a friend a few years ago. Her name is Kat. She passed away. She was like 40. She might have been 41, and she had a heart attack. It's just terrible.
I would like to take this moment because it's so shocking. You know, people have to spend this time with their loved ones. You know, as a matter of fact, now that this is being brought up, somebody that's in my immediate family just lost an in-law because they're married. So they lost their in-law not too long ago, literally like 3 days ago.
Well,
you know? And I was like the second person they called. And again, cancer situation. Like, it's time is too short to be stupid, to allow politics, to allow disagreements, things of the past to not be reconciled. It's 2020. We're in a pandemic, and life has just sucked all freaking year.
It's been terrible. I have to tell you, it's really been bad. I agree with you. My brother-in-law.
But people need to. I just want to end with people need to take the time to make sure that people know that they love one another. It's important.
I think I agree with you 100%. Yeah. Everybody needs to do that. My brother-in-law, my ex-wife, her sister's husband passed away from COVID-19 a few days ago. His name is Danny Webb. And yesterday, I know you didn't know this gentleman, but Tim Banks, huge in radio out here in California and in the musician world. He played guitar, played bass. He was a radio disc jockey, very popular, very loved by very, very many people. He was in Arizona living with his girlfriend, Stacy J. Berry. He was there with her. He for 18 months, he hadn't been there. Been with her. He came to Apple Valley. His son, Andrew, also a stellar musician, playing at a memorial for his friend yesterday.
Really?
Last night, memorial for his friend. While he was playing guitar, he said he needed to sit down. He wasn't feeling well, and then all of a sudden he just collapsed. He had a heart attack, a massive heart attack. I talked to his son. I saw a post by his son, Andrew, today, said that he had a blood clot, possibly, that is what caused it. He just went. And there were a team of 10 tried to revive him. They got him to the hospital. He died before he got to the hospital, really, but they tried to revive him, and he was gone. And Tim is just he was a fantastic man. He was a very sweet man. He was very considerate and very fun to be around, and he always made everybody hit an infectious laugh, as they say. So, with that said, I mean, you're right. This 2020 has been terrible. I've had like 8 or 9 friends pass in the last 6 months.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know what's going on. I don't think it's because I'm getting. I mean, you're younger than me, and you've had friends pass.
I have.
a lot of people. I mean, and then it's just It's just what is up with it? What is going
like
on
a
here?
lot of it's COVID, but then there's like these freak things that are just too many of these things are happening. It's I don't know.
It's
I
too
don't know.
much. It's too much. And that's too close to home for me. I mean, I love people, and I like, I feel like you said, we need to be. This is the time where we all need to be with our family, and we do need to tell everybody that we love them, and that we care about them. And gosh, I know it's COVID-19, but your family members are there with you. Hug them, tell them you love them. I think that's the right thing to do. I mean,
It's called taking inventory, people. You got to take inventory. Don't be like, oh, could have, would have, should have, because once something horrible happens, God forbid, that's it. You don't get a second chance.
right,
You only get one life to live. So try to do
right.
something with it. I wanna switch over to politics because I am the first person to admit that, and this is good.
You got caught, didn't you?
I got caught. I got caught. Okay. So if you listen to this on Spotify or iHeart or Apple or Google Podcasts, thank you so much. There is a video version of this. So if you're watching this right now on YouTube or Facebook video or Facebook Watch, you're about to see the picture that I'm going to show you guys. I did DNC week last week for the convention, where every night I basically give my responses to different posts or different speakers that were speaking. I did the same thing this week to the RNC. And last night, Ivanka Trump spoke before her father did. And she had mentioned something about her son who plays with Legos and built a replica of the White House, and how Donald Trump is so proud of his grandson that it's on display in the Oval Office. And he actually brags and shares it to leaders of other worlds when they come to the White House. And I thought, wow, that is so cool. However, dude, you've been in office for like 4 years. How come we've never seen this on like Melania's social media or your social media or Ivanka's social media? I think that's fake news. Nice try, Ivanka. Making us think that your father actually has these cute little moments with his grandchildren. Well, lo and behold, today, a friend of mine, I want to give him a shout out. So shout out to Derek. Thank you so much, sir, for keeping me honest. I'm going to go ahead and do a screen share with you guys right now. He just casually said, hey, I found it. I'm disabled, Kevin. You have to enable my screen sharing abilities here.
Okay, I'll do that.
Okay. He actually found the photo, and it was tweeted from Donald, or it was shared with Donald Trump's social media. And I have to show that I was in the wrong.
I'm getting the screen share up here. It's not climbing.
yeah.
Here we go. There we go. All right,
Okay.
You should be able to do it now.
All right, let me just click right here, and here we go. So if you're looking at your screen right now, there it is, people. There it is. That is Ivanka's little son with Grandpa Donald Trump. And to the left of it in the picture, there it is. It is, in fact, a replica of the White House built by Lego.
Yay.
So I was wrong. And that I want people that are listening to know, I will stay honest. If you can prove me wrong, please feel free to, and I will correct myself here on the podcast. I have no shame in admitting when I'm wrong to make sure things are right. I am a moderate. I try to keep it as middle of the road, the best that I can, and it's very hard being in media in this day and age. So.
Right, it is very hard being in media. But hey, you know what? You're a good sport. I think that's a good sport thing. And the gentleman that corrected you, I think that's good that they corrected you. And
well, it was just so funny because like I wasn't expecting it, and it's like, oh my God, he got me.
Right,
and I get a good laugh out of it when I'm proven wrong. It's kind of a good reflection, actually.
And a lot of people don't realize we do research on these things. We do research a lot of things. Sometimes we just don't get the right thing.
Yep.
But you're going to have the Republicans calling out the Democrats and the Democrats calling out the Republicans. That's never going to change as far as politics go. And I've seen the ratings and the views this week. We were talking about somebody posted that the ratings for the RNC was 128 million people.
My gosh. What was the rest of the country doing?
I don't know what they were doing, but I guess they were asleep. I don't know, but 128 million people was that's just no way.
No.
And that was my. I got a lady. She actually got on to me and says, "Well, I agree, but she can't agree because we went back and forth on Facebook quite a bit, about it. What people don't understand, the Nielsen ratings, rate all these things. The largest ratings ever was a Super Bowl. I believe it was Super Bowl 49 or something like that. I was 2014, whatever the Super Bowl was number. It was 2014, and the ratings were 114.4 million. That was the largest ever recorded event on television history. And so to say somebody had 128 million, there's no way. So started researching a little bit, going through all the statistics and everything, and it turned out to be anywhere between 15.8 to 17 million was the actual number, which is
rarely do those numbers get over 20
it's
million.
realistic. It's realistic. There's not that, and then if you've taken a look at Joe Biden's Facebook,
Riding with Biden,
and Donald Trump's Facebook, have you taken a look at the followers? How many followers they have?
Yeah, you can't really follow that though on the back end. It doesn't mean anything. It means something to the common public, but it doesn't actually mean anything really.
Well, I don't know. I kind of think it does in a little bit. I mean, why? I mean, Donald Trump's been around. He's got 28 million followers.
Right.
Joe Biden has 7 million.
He's a sensationalist.
Biden
actually has a higher engagement rate, though, on his Facebook page, which means that when he posts content, it's more interactive and more engaging, believe it or not, than what Donald Trump's team is posting. So, but that's just social media. You can't really measure this entire race just solely with social media. You know what I mean?
Well, I understand that. You can't do it completely with social media, but, I mean, for the most part, you can tell there's some things going on here that you need to keep an eye on because it does play a part in this whole nowadays in this whole 2020 race. It's gonna play a part. It played a part in 2016. It played a part in 2012 when Obama and
a lot of people. It would be interesting to see a lot of people who actually are following Donald Trump who actually don't like Donald Trump because like for example on his Twitter page when he posts something, if you click on the comments, they usually start very negatively. And those people aren't really seeing Donald Trump's tweets unless they're following him so they can comment. So, that would be really interesting to see who's, a devoted, voter, or follower of his as a leader.
Voter, yes, right.
Yeah, something like that. And then who's not. And then vice versa for Biden also.
I'm going to fix this light here real quick. Hang on.
Yeah, sure. While you do that, I want to bring up one more thing here for the monologue, and it's professional sports. And I'm probably going to get a lot of backfire on this, and that's okay. That's okay.
Go ahead because I have a few things I want to say about this myself.
Look, it's a really bad time in the country. There is racism. We know this. There's a lot of things that are just really bad right now. But for all of you against professional sports canceling games, here's a quote from an article just pre-COVID in January of this year, okay? It's from an article from the website sportstalkflorida.com, and it goes like this, quote, "The American Football League, their players boycotted the league's planned 1965 New Orleans All-Star game because of Jim Crow." Now, conditions for Negro athletes did change by the end of King's life in 1968, but Negro athletes would continue to protest, end quote. Now, listen up. For all of you against athletes protesting, here's me paraphrasing you. You probably have heard this. I'm so over professional sports. They need to shut up and play the game. Do what they are supposed to. Play sports and nothing else. That's what they get paid to do. I'm sorry, but do you see how stupid you sound now?
No.
Okay.
No, well, I do not. And here's I'm going to rebut this.
You can't rebut it until I finish.
Okay, go finish, but I'm going to rebut this.
There is a rule in media. Everything has already happened. History is repeating itself. Nothing is new. So if I sound like what a lot of people that I'm paraphrasing, sound like, they have to stop the process and ask themselves, what is happening in our society? Why is this affecting so many people? Why would a sports athlete use their platform to send a message of awareness? I mean, don't think just because you're so strongly set in ways that's just the way it should be, you gotta stop doing that. You have to think, comprehend the situation, see the other side of the argument. I mean, that does require research, and I mean, for God's sakes, just look deeper into it than surface news.
Totally disagree.
Fun fact, though, before you say something, Kevin, Kaepernick, because he's everyone's favorite protester in sports, he is not the first to protest the country in the manner that he had, as far as an athlete goes. We have to stop forgetting. We have to stop forgetting the history with sports and protesting. Okay, go ahead.
So many things I want to rebut on that, because here's the deal, okay?
Were you taking notes?
You say how stupid we sound, but honestly, here's my opinion, okay? If you're going to get involved with politics of the whole thing, then don't be a sports person. Don't be a musician. Don't be an actor. Don't be involved. If you want to be involved with politics, get into politics. And here's why. The NBA stopped games. They stopped the games. Millions and millions of dollars
But we don't
lost.
know, though. We don't know if they're getting paid or not for when they're not doing their
Well,
game.
I hope they're not, because they should not be getting paid. It's like if you and I went to work and we said, "Oh, sorry, we're not coming in today because we're protesting." Your boss, what's he going to tell you? He's going to tell you, "Well, you better get your ass back in there and get to work, because we have business to do."
Isn't that what they did during the civil rights movement? You know, in that era, they literally refused to play the games. That's what I just said. Back then,
but
it's the same situation.
It's not the same situation, because the thing is that if these people, they should not be their platform is not the place for this kind of situation. The political platform is the place for it, not sports. Sports is sports. Play sports. If you're going to do music, play music. I don't want to go to an award show. I'm so sick of seeing these award shows on television, and I'm a musician myself. You're a musician. I don't want to go see an award show. Madonna was one of the worst. I saw Madonna, and she was very political about the whole bit. Politics shoved down my throat. Democratic politics shoved down my throat. It was offending to me. I did not like it.
Right.
It's very, it's offending. I didn't pay, $300 a ticket to go see Madonna preach politics to me.
But what you're saying is it's like it's like an end all, right? Like it's an ultimatum, like just don't do it. But I'm going back to like the 60s. Like, was it not justified because Jim Crow was going on for these athletes to just protest the game altogether?
Well,
you know what I mean?
But that was the 60s, and this is 2020. That's a whole different thing. I mean, you got to think about that. Back then, people may be more naive about it than they are now. I think that, because we're paying multi-million dollars for these people to play sports and to play to music and to play, to make movies. And in order, we don't want this shove where we have to have some kind of entertainment. If you're going to be, Donald Trump is a perfect example. Donald Trump had this show, where you fired people.
The Apprentice.
The Apprentice. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And, he got out of that show. And now, same thing with Arnold Schwarzenegger. He became the governor of California. Ronald Reagan did the same thing. They got completely out of the politics. Arnold is back in the movie business now. He's not in politics anymore. It's just too much cross-branding of everything. It's like going to In-N-Out Burger. When you go to In-N-Out Burger, what do you get? You get a hamburger. You don't get chicken. You don't get, tacos. You don't get, it's the same thing. And then you go to McDonald's, you get the same thing. You get chicken. You get, they have McNuggets.
I see what you're saying, but at the same time, there are a lot of public figures who are probably just jumping on the bandwagon, but
they're jumping on the bandwagon for the wrong reason. I know, but they're jumping on the bandwagon for the wrong reason, Andrew. They're trying to do it. They think that they've got the weight to do it, and they don't.
I just want to point out that as an athlete, not me, but people that are athletes, there comes a time when you are looked up to. You are a leader. You are a public figure. You have to look at yourself morally and decide, do I continue to stay silent or do I speak up when I feel like it's wrong? Let's look at NASCAR really quick before we continue the show, okay? NASCAR is one of the most popular sports in the history of the United States. It's more popular than football, basketball, baseball, all of that, okay? NASCAR is a very, very conservative sport. It is, it's very right-wing also. I'm sure there's more Trump supporters than Biden supporters that watch NASCAR. I could almost bet on that. Okay. when that whole noose thing at the time, let's remember with the driver Bubba, when it was happening, and we were under the impression that that was happening, and it was a real noose, and it wasn't just randomly there from the year before. All those drivers walked with Bubba on the racetrack, like in solidarity, you know, and that's a powerful, powerful statement. That is a protest. You know, that is taking a political stance in this day and age to show support for your teammate. You know, do you think that was not justified in that moment in time when we all assumed that that was a big deal?
Okay, the difference between NASCAR and the NBA right now is that the NASCAR continued to race. The race never stopped. You know, even with Colin Kaepernick, okay, he continued to play football.
Did you just call him Colin? You mean Colin, right?
To me, he's a Colin.
Okay. Anyways, go
Colin
on.
Kaepernick. He continued to play football. Tim Tebow was the same thing.
Tim Tebow. Come on, Kevin.
Whatever.
I call him T-Bone, but whatever.
He did the same thing. Same thing. He knelt in prayer, but the game never stopped. People did complain about that he was praying on the field, just like they did Kaepernick when he was praying on the field in protest. But the thing about these players is that they did two different ways. Okay, Tebow did it for Christ, and he did it during the prayer of the game. He would go on the field, and he did go on the field, yes, and pray, and then begin the game. But he didn't really hold anything up to the point to where millions of dollars were lost. Kaepernick did his during the national anthem, which was offensive to many people.
He's not the first to do it, though.
I realize that, but, you know, if you realize and you say they need to be more, they have to have a feeling of, they have
something
to be
inside of them.
Something inside of them, right?
Telling them to do that. I really don't believe it's ego either. I really do believe.
I don't know. I believe part of it is.
Ego in the sense that they're going to make a stance because they're a public figure. People are going to pay attention, yes. But I don't think they're trying to recoup anything off of this, you know?
Okay, but it's like, here's the thing. You and I, we talk about this on the air like we're doing now, but there are people out there that have completely political differences between whether I believe or what you believe. They don't give a rat's bottom about what we think. They don't care. And we don't care about what other people think. So why do we care about someone who gets why do we care about someone getting up on a stage and making these political statements? I don't care about that. I don't care about their feelings. I don't care what they think. I don't care what they have to say. They're not going to listen to what I have to say. Why do I need to hear what they have to say?
I feel not everybody on these sports teams. I mean, we're talking now. It's everywhere, Kevin. It's just today on CBS News. It's the NHL, it's the NFL, it's the NBA, it's the WNBA, and then it's the MLB. I mean, these are 5 of the biggest sports organizations in the world, not just the U.S. They're all doing it. I don't believe all the players are Democrats. All the players are liberal. Some of these players that are doing this are also conservative. They're also Republican, but they're still following in line to get the message out there. I think that's a moral thing. I don't think it has anything to do with, you know, partisanship, or which political way is better than the other. I really do believe humanity, humanistic quality, people are doing, or athletes are doing what they feel is right to create awareness for the situation.
But it's causing problems. It's causing problems.
Now, I don't know if they're getting paid when they do that. Good example, Marlins and the Mets played this week, right? They ran out to I don't know if you saw this in the news. They literally went out to the field to start the game, did the national anthem. As soon as the national anthem was over, the Marlins exited the field, the Mets exited the field. They did not play the game.
Well, I just feel that there's too much of it. I mean, people are tired. This is why people get frustrated. This is why there's so many problems with social media. There's just too much of this. Stick to what you do. I mean, this is what we do here.
Shouldn't we stop, though, as Americans and question why this is happening, though? Like, we can't just take it for face value. We should stop and see why it's happening all over the place in sports.
Well, it's happening because people don't want to keep their mouth shut and do their job.
Oh, Kevin.
I'm serious. They will not
Kevin.
want to keep their mouth shut and do their job. That, play sports, play music, be an actor.
Give me an example when it's justified for a band to just quit in the middle of a concert.
I have never thought that was justified ever.
No. Give me an example when it could be justified.
I don't think it should be. The band is there to play music. That concert should go on no matter what's going on, unless there's a bomb threat or some kind of thing going on in the building that they have to quit. But if you're there and you've got millions, you got 70,000 people in a stadium, 50,000 people in a stadium, and you're playing music, and your fans have paid $300, $500, $700. Some people pay $1,000 for these boxes, whatever the case is.
Yeah,
play that music. I don't want to hear the politics. I want to hear your hit songs. I want to see your show. That's what I paid for. I didn't go there to hear you talk about Trump. Didn't go there to hear you talk about Biden.
Would you be more accepting? Let's go back to sports real quick. Would you be more accepting if, in fact, when these players aren't playing the games, they're also not getting paid for those games either?
I don't think that if you want to protest, that's fine, but don't expect to get paid for it. Do not expect. It's just like if you and I, again, you go to work every day, you show up at your office and you say, "I'm sorry, I'm going to a protest." And the manager goes, "Okay, go protest, but you have to clock out. You're not getting paid for it." That's exactly what needs to happen with these people. They should not. Do what you want. It's America, but don't expect to get paid for it. You're getting paid, $300 million in a 5-year contract. Don't expect me to pay you because you're going to be out, preaching your politics. I expect you to be here on the field, and I expect you to be in practice. I expect you to be suited up and out there ready to go. If you don't want to be here and you don't want to be on the game, then, there are many, many thousands of kids, young kids today, working their butts off, Andrew, wanting to play the game, who can't get in, who's willing to take those persons' place in a second. Nobody is expendable from this. Nobody's expendable.
What's interesting, though, Kevin? When people in Hollywood protest, no one really cares or pays attention like they do with sports. You notice that? We would not be having the same conversation if this was a Leonardo DiCaprio or a Joseph Gordon-Levitt situation or Julia Roberts.
Well, what about Robert De Niro? Everybody hates Robert De Niro because of the way he talks.
Yeah, but he hasn't talked about Trump in like a year.
Yeah, but people hated him before that. He was a loudmouth, belligerent jerk. And it's sad because he was a huge star. But you're right, and here's the reason why. Sports is loved by, America is sports. I mean, apple pie,
America doesn't
baseball.
love movies?
America loves movies, but
I get it. It's
sports,
America.
Sports is more ready available. I mean, you go to a restaurant, they're playing it on all the TVs, the whole bit. It's way more popular than I just feel like if you don't show to work, then don't get paid. I mean,
all right. Hey, that's okay.
Sorry about the pronunciations. I'm not really a huge sports fan, by the way.
No, it's okay. You got the voice for it. No, it's fine. Like I appreciate that you listened to me and I had to listen to you. And we're completely opposite on this. And I do feel like people do, agree with you, but I do also think people do agree with me too.
I'm sure they do.
And I do really feel like there are parallelisms to what's happening now in sports versus things of that are similar from back in the day. Like Muhammad Ali, when he decided he wasn't going to go join the army and stuff, but he died a saint or a legend. You know what I mean?
Right. And I saw a thing yesterday about Donald Trump didn't go because he had bone spurs, and he wasn't drafted because he supposedly dodged the draft because he had bone spurs. But they were talking about Biden. Biden didn't go because he had asthma. There were so many.
I mean, asthma's a serious thing.
Right, but he was called up 5 times and didn't go. But we're getting everybody's trying to there's always wings and balances of everything about how this whole deal goes. And personally, I don't care. I feel that everybody's being nitpicky. We have so much access to social media now. Everybody's just being so nitpicky about this whole thing, and you're right. You and I do not see eye to eye on this, and I respect your opinion, but to me, I just don't. I think that if you're going to get out there and do your thing with protesting, and I'd never wanted to go, and I've said this for years, even before it's gotten way worse now, but years and years ago, I don't want to hear the political stuff. I don't pay to go to the movies and hear political stuff unless I go to a political movie or something. I don't want to go to basketball. I mean, I've been to basketball games, I've been to baseball games and all sorts of stuff. I want to see the game. That's why I go there. I want to go to a concert. I want to hear music. I don't want to hear because you're famous and a star, I don't want to hear you talk about. I don't want to hear it. I want to hear the music. I'm there to get things off my mind. I'm here to make myself feel better about things. I want to relax.
Enough of that malarkey. Agree to disagree, I
well,
guess.
We probably will agree to disagree on some things, of course, but hey, it's all good, buddy. It's all good.
No, that was good. That was good. A lot's going on in the world. Okay, so from the monologue, we're going to go into the show today. Now, Kevin, if you remember correctly, the last show, we challenged each other to watch a episode from a random season of a show you grew up with and a show that my generation has grown up with. You gave me The Love Boat, Season 1, Episode 3. And I gave you Keeping Up with Kardashians. I don't remember the season or the episode, though.
It was Season 16, I believe, Episode 12.
Now, they have 18 seasons, so you're almost caught up. So, I don't know. Let's, I guess I'll start with this one then. Okay.
Do you know the theme by now? The Love Boat.
Yeah, it was like the only thing they said over and over again. Let's talk about The Love Boat, okay, people? The intro is way too long to begin with, okay?
Oh, come on. Already? Really?
It was like a 2-minute intro.
They got like 7 cast of characters, though,
And they did that thing. If you're watching this right now on Facebook Watch or YouTube, just watch me. They did that thing on some of the actors where they do this.
I know. Isn't that great?
They do the turnaround thing, and it's just like, why? Why do you do that? I don't get it.
It's the 70s.
Yeah.
Man.
They used a laugh track. I did not know that. I realized when like they were at the airport and then on the boat, because they're actually real exterior shots, right? They're actually outside. It's not a soundstage. They're actually using a laugh track for the jokes. So I thought that was a little cheesy,
Well, back in the 70s, a lot of laugh tracks were done. There's like, Three's Company and some of those. I discussed with you other shows.
Yeah. See, I know that one.
Yeah.
Julie, who is like the main lady that works on the ship.
She's the ship's cruise director or whatever.
Yeah, the cruise director. She could be reported to Human Resources for harassment. I just want to put that out there. There was this good-looking gentleman worker that like was on the cruise with her, and like she was just goo-goo over him, and it was like she was trying to seduce him, literally trying to seduce him. And I was like, you can't do that nowadays. You'll get written up.
Back in the 70s, Lauren Tews, who plays Julie, by the way, Julie McCoy, was very, very gorgeous. She was very, very gorgeous for the 70s, okay? She's in her 60s now. I mean, and she's quite heavy set and everything now. But back in the day, and I will tell you, she's one of the characters who actually, she got into drugs extremely bad. And she got kicked off the show because of the fact
threw her
that
overboard.
She was doing cocaine and some heavy duty drugs.
They made her walk the plank.
She walked the plank.
Okay, so there's this ongoing theme on this particular episode. Some of the castaways. There's an ex-husband on the cruise. There's a married couple also. The wife is actually the ex-wife to this ex-husband. Okay. She has extreme anxiety because she just broke up or got divorced, and he's on the cruise. Like the ex-husband is on the cruise, and she can't take it. Scott Baio is like 12 years old in this.
Right, and Christy McNichol.
Yeah. So like he locks eyes with this girl. Mind you, I didn't realize it was a girl at first because of the way that her clothes are. So I thought she was a gender neutral looking girl, Kevin.
Christy McNichol. That's Christy McNichol.
Her name was Kelly, And I only knew she was a girl as soon as she spoke after like being on camera on camera for like 2 minutes. Then I realized, oh, it's a girl. So so it jumps back and forth. So Barney's this ex-husband that's on the cruise, and when they cut to him after you find out that the ex-wife has all this anxiety because he's on the cruise. The next cut to him, he's shooting a rifle off the side of the ship, like target practice. Like, I guess it was just casual back in the day to just shoot clay birds off the side of a cruise ship at sea.
Right, they do that. They do that.
I've been on Carnival. There were no rifles.
Well, these rifles don't have bullets. They're they're target rifles. They shoot them at the sea.
Well, fun fact. When he,
I'm assuming they still do that. I don't know if they do it anymore or not. Things have changed since then.
The ex-husband now has a girlfriend, and she's on the cruise too. Okay, and when she spots, or I'm sorry, when the ex-husband spots the ex-wife, like on the deck below, he tries to shoot her with the rifle. And the girlfriend has to stop. You will never see that on television in this day and age. That is gun violence.
Well, that's not necessarily true. I mean, there's a lot of shows on television right now that show gun violence.
I don't see the man using the gun to try to shoot the woman, especially at sea.
Well, there are shows. I'll have to look at some. We'll have to discuss that further. But there are shows that do show this kind of stuff, this kind of violence.
Well, both of the exes end up meeting in the lobby because he comes out of the elevator and it's like, oh, great, this is awkward. And then it cuts to this random, literally they use the word puberty. It's this random discussion about puberty between Julie and the little girl Kelly, because she's trying to figure out like how to deal with Scott Baio because he's being weird around her and stuff. Right. Then it cuts to this random dinner scene, and the exes and the spouses, because the ex-husband has a girlfriend, and then the ex-wife got remarried to like the marriage counselor for when they were married. Hot mess, I know. They sit at the captain's table because they bought like the expensive package. So it's just super awkward the whole night. The captain tries to ease the tension at the dinner table by making them role play. And then they just use play on words. And then it cuts back to Scott Baio, who's now on a date with Kelly. So anyways, this date, they're sitting there. There's no announcement of this date. They just happen to be on this date. And he keeps like repeating himself like, oh, you look nice. You look nice. I don't know. It makes no sense. And then I noticed this because I was trying to figure out where they were all going on this cruise ship. And when it ends horribly, he goes back to his hotel room. Scott Baio does, or his quarters. And I guess he's on the ship with his grandma, him and his British grandma, which was weird also, who writes this stuff, is asking him like, how'd the date go and stuff. And he's like all upset about it. And then he says, something about getting drunk and washing up on a Mexican coast. So this could be the 3-day cruise from Long Beach to Ensenada. That's what I was assuming by this point in the program. Oh, and then he did something really horrible. Like during the date, he said that Kelly's makeup was a disgrace, like on her face. And I thought to myself, God, that's a really horrible thing, like body image and stuff to say to a little girl. I mean, she poked fun at his pimple, but I felt like what he said was a lot more harsher than what Scott Baio said. Okay, so here's something that's really, really funny now. Okay, by this point, I'm halfway in. Okay, because it's an hour-long show. I looked at the time when I noticed this, Kevin. It took me minute 29 to realize that the black guy in the show, he's in a red blazer and he's the only waiter on the entire ship.
He's actually the bartender.
Yeah, but like he's like
that's Isaac.
Yeah, Isaac. He's taking orders. He's going back and forth. He's on almost every scene. Like there are no background actors. There are no extras who are wearing red jackets. It's just him. Why is he the only waiter or bartender for the whole cruise ship? That I did not understand at all. Okay, so after that, we go back to the ex-husband, who for some reason mysteriously knows, this is the next day, he mysteriously knows his ex-wife's room number. How, I have no idea, because it was never discussed in the show. And then all of a sudden in the room, they're lovey-dovey. It's just the two of them. The new husband is actually with the ex-husband's girlfriend gambling somewhere on the ship. So now you have both exes that are in her quarters together intimately. And then they start making out, and then they have sex. And I know they have sex because she mentions that they have sex later on after they cut back to them. And then from there, it goes to the British grandma, who's Scott Baio's grandma, supposedly, up on deck, and she's trying to sneak more alcohol into her soup. By this point, I'm under the impression she's an alcoholic because she was also drinking a lot of liquor when she met the little Kelly girl at the very beginning of the show. So that was interesting. And then later on in the nighttime, it cuts to Julie's quarters, and she's trying to sit there with this boy toy, you know, that she was seducing earlier. And it's like late at night, he falls asleep on her bed, and like she just lets him sleep there. And then on the final day when they're coming into port, the ex-wife admits to the new husband that she loves the new husband very, very much. Like, she can't admit she had an affair. She had sex in their quarters when the husband was out gambling and stuff. And then when they're at the taxis, it's like this is her opportunity to still come forward, and she never comes forward. She just lets it linger. And then Scott Baio tells Kelly that they have to see each other when they get off the back on shore. But like, there's no exchange in phone numbers, and this was the 70s, so it's not like they have cell phones or like Snapchats or Instagrams. And then Kelly tells Scott that she loves him. So that was the Love Boat, and I was just confused on some of the holes in the episode, and yeah, it's kind of dated, you know, some of the jokes and some of the things that they were doing on it and stuff. So
well, it is the 70s in that, but that was a huge show in the 70s. It had a lot of years of on air.
Yeah,
and it was a huge show, and it is Love Boat. I mean, it tells you right there. Editing back then is. I don't know if it's any better now, actually, to be honest with you. When I get into mine, I'll get into that.
Was the Love Boat like a super hit show? Like that was what people watched?
It was number one for many, many years, yes. It was a huge show. I can tell you that show ran in the 70s. You know, a lot of shows like that. Chips was another big show that ran in the 70s. It was a huge show that everybody watched for many, many many seasons. The Love Boat had 10 seasons. It went from 1976 to 1986. And, I'm sorry, 1976 to 1990. It was a huge, huge show. The song was a huge hit. All of the actors, except for the captain, Gavin MacLeod, who was on the Mary Tyler Moore Show, is still alive.
Oh, wow.
Charo was a huge. You know who Charo is?
Yeah, she's
the coochie lady.
Yeah, she's a Latin fire.
Right. I was going to give you one with Charo, but we couldn't get the CBS thing to work as we discussed.
Oh yeah,
that
would have been a good one.
But yeah, she was a major player in a lot of the Love Boat shows, and it was so overall, you thought it was kind of corny, but it was a little dated, and it was a 70s show. It's good to watch those kind of shows when you're watching at night and you're, bored or whatever the case is.
It's a good way to fall asleep, I'll tell you that, yeah.
That's how I felt about it. You made me watch Keeping Up With the Kardashians, and I've never, here's the thing, I've never ever seen, first of all, I'm not a reality show guy. I'm just not. I've never been one. I've watched like HGTV, you know, where they go out and they get the house and you know they go out and look for 3 or 4 houses, and then the couple goes, well, I don't know, we've got so much budget, and, you know, I mean, those are okay. I'm okay with that, you know, because I like to look at the houses. They're nice. But, you know, these Kardashians, oh my gosh, they're so full of drama. It's just unreal. I think this is what's wrong with today's world, to be honest with you. These guys, first of all, there was Kim Kardashian, who's the most famous, of course, with her husband Kanye West. Kanye West had red hair. I was just like, wow.
Oh, I forgot about that.
He had red hair in this show. And then there was they were talking about Kush, which is the name of her business. named
Okay.
after her daughter. Anyway, so it all starts out. What it's all based up on is, and I'll follow up with this in a little bit, but I guess that Khloe Kardashian, I believe it's Khloe, has had a husband or a boyfriend, and his name was Tristan.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And she was very pregnant. I mean, really pregnant at one point. And I guess she caught her boyfriend, husband with another girl named Jordan, and who happened to be her friend, and they were kissing and doing the whole bit. And she says it wasn't just a little peck, they got caught. But anyway, so the Kardashians, Khloe and Kourtney, and
can
all
you
these
imagine if you were at the bar telling this to some of your friends? They would think you lost it.
Yes, they would think I've lost it, because it would be like, why are you watching the Kardashians?
Why are you explaining it to us?
But it was kind of funny, because I really feel like this is millennial drama. I wrote this down. This, to me, is millennial drama. I wrote it right here in my notes that I made, because we both took notes for this shows.
We did, yeah.
So they're in this fancy house, and the mom's calling. First of all, it kind of started kind of weird for me, because there was a lot of crying and a lot of, oh, what do you want to do? You want to go? Let's go to the Palm Springs house and all this stuff, and she's going, okay. So they get in this. I mean, first of all, they're in this black SUV, and it's really nice. You can tell they have money right away.
Right.
And the mom's calling and going, "Are you guys going to be okay? You guys be careful." And it's kind of cool. The coolest part of this whole show for me was that I could see that they were driving on the, I believe it was the 210 freeway.
Okay.
And you can see this. I mean, I've been to many of these. You could see the signs and all. There was Target off to the left, and there was, it was.
So it sounds like when they were going to Palm Springs, they were trying to avoid the traffic of the 10 freeway. So
they might
because they come from Calabasas, it was the 134 to the 210.
Right. Possibly so.
All the way through the Inland Empire.
Right, and they were going through the Inland Empire. I recognized all these buildings, and that was so funny. I mean, and could you imagine driving down? I mean, I've seen videos of different stars driving, and you can recognize the freeway. I mean, these buildings, and if you live here in Los Angeles.
I have ran into Kim Kardashian back in the early times of Keeping Up with Kardashians. It was 2010-ish, but I was in Brentwood, so I guess that doesn't count.
Well, Brentwood always counts.
Well, I know what you mean, but I mean, you would expect to see somebody like Kim Kardashian in Brentwood,
right?
You wouldn't expect to see her in Upland or Rancho Cucamonga,
right?
You know what I mean?
So they're driving in this black SUV, and they're talking and singing, and she's all depressed and sad, and so Kourtney, I guess, is the person that's driving here. Let's put on some music, So they're putting on this playlist of music that is will cheer you up, or maybe it's hate music or whatever the case is. And so anyway, the girl in the back seat is taking video of them, driving and singing along with the songs, and they're discussing the whole situation about Tristan and Jordan and the whole bit. Well, it gets put on Instagram.
Oh.
And so
the conversation gets put on Instagram.
This whole conversation gets put on Instagram, and so they're talking about this conversation, and so now Kim's going no. 5 minutes later, we better take that down. We shouldn't have this on Instagram, but it's too late. It's already getting put on other sites and the whole bit. I mean, they're being followed. In 5 minutes, it's on other sites and the whole bit. And so evidently Kim is the only sane one here, because all these girls are crazy, and they're crying, and they're, Kim is like, can I help you? Can I do this or whatever? So they get to the Palm Springs house, and of course, the first thing they do is start drinking. They have, this must want to make me think of you. They have a chef. Her name is Chef K.
Oh, yeah. K. Yeah.
This made me think of you.
Okay. Oh, good.
And, she was bringing them, tequila drinks and all fancy drinks and food and the whole bit.
Yeah. Kay knows how to do it right.
Their house is super nice. I mean, I have to admit, I'd love to have a house like that.
Most houses in Palm Springs are super nice. Yeah.
This reminded me. I've been to Palm Springs. There's some restaurants. This kind of reminded me. The kitchen reminded me of a restaurant of one of the houses in of our restaurant in Palm Springs. The way it was built and the
their kitchen,
the decoration, the whole bit. Yeah.
The decor. Yeah. Very cool.
So they're discussing it while this is going on. Chloe's getting drunker and drunker, and they're discussing this thing called Geordie Lip Kit. That's a business that they have, and I guess one of the girls a few months back said they wanted to advertise it, and it was a surprise to this girl about the whole Jordy Lip kid, and they were going like, "Oh, let's take it off the market. It's for sale, and it's a big mistake." And she was surprised, and I don't know, it was millions of dollars, I guess, that was going bad here in this big deal. So that was one of the small things that happened. So in the meantime, this Chloe gets drunker and drunker, and here's where I was like, wow, she started calling these people bitches, and she was cussing.
Like drunk, right?
The editor of the show has to stay
awesome.
very busy on the bleep button. I know this is on E! Entertainment TV or whatever, because he was, you sorry, and you sorry, and whoever was bleeping it didn't really do a very good job, because you could hear about half the words that were being said in the whole bit. Anyway, I'll bet there was probably 500 bleeps in this show. There was and then they wonder why kids cuss and do all the things they do and say all the things they say. Well, this is just a dramatic show. And so this Courtney gets really drunk, and she starts pushing around on her sister and grabbing her by the neck, and they're fighting in the bathroom and the whole bit, and she's pushing her. And so the next day, after the next day, it's all over with. I guess Courtney actually pushed one of the sisters, or actually hit one of the sisters, Chloe, I guess.
Oh, wow.
Actually, Chloe hit Courtney, I guess is the way it was.
Okay.
And, she's going, I can't believe he did that. She goes, but you know how she gets when she gets drunk? She could snap me in half. And Kim, again, to the rescue. She jumps in. She goes, come on, let's get out of here. Let's go into another room and all that. She rescued the whole, keep Chloe from beating up on Courtney, I guess, in the whole bit. So that was pretty crazy. And
some people watch this like a religion, Kevin.
Well, and then they called it bullying. She was bullying Courtney. Chloe was bullying Courtney. That's where I couldn't get that. I just didn't.
I just thought it was sisters fighting, but that's just me.
But she goes, I feel like I've been bullied. I feel like it's been, I can't believe that she would bully me like that, And Kim, would you like me to stay here with you at the house, or do you feel okay? And, no, it's okay. I'll be fine. And I'm like, wow, okay, geez. So anyway, it's a crazy show, and everything is just, they were posting all this stuff on the websites, and it was happening so fast. And Kim said, we need to delete all this. It's crazy. We shouldn't be seeing all this. And
spoiler alert, there are several spin-offs to Keeping Up with the Kardashians, in case you didn't know.
I did not know that.
Yeah, they have, there's one where they take over Miami. There's one where two of them live together. Yeah.
But, this family, the thing is, I know she was married to Bruce Jenner, the Kris Jenner and all that. The family is just, wow. I thought my family was messed up in a lot of cases, but this family is really messed up. I'm sorry, but
many more problems.
Right, and she was pouting, about the whole thing, and then of course at the end, Tristan, her husband, or her boyfriend or whatever, they have a baby together called True, and Tristan got 3 or 4 dozen flowers, and gave to Chloe. Because he really wants to be back with her, and she's going, oh, it's so sweet and everything, but I don't really trust him in the whole bit, and it's not all Tristan's fault. I know that it's it's not all Jordan's fault. I know it's Tristan. He's the one who shouldn't have been doing this. He's with me, and he should have been more true. And this is just so. It was just it was like, oh my gosh,
next time I'll have you watch Laguna Beach or The Hills.
I wanted to change the channel right away. It was just these girls are just, again, like I said, I don't really watch. It's very emotional and very. It's very. I felt like at some point, this is just a lot of fake put on. To me, I don't see how anybody's family could have this much drama in it.
So you were not the target audience then for this particular.
Not really a target audience. The girls are somewhat pretty, I guess, and Kanye, I know, I've heard of the show, but I've never sat down to watch an episode. This is the first episode I've ever sat down to watch. And
it was an experience you'll never forget.
It was, It was quite the experience, you know. And then, of course, she's crying, and Chloe's going, and this is the quote unquote, this is my life, and I'm just not a. I'm just not a television sponsor, a television personality. As this is just not a TV thing for me. It's not just an episode. This is actually my life. This is my life, you know. And I'm going, yes, it's your life, and you need to do something about it because it's all messed up.
Oh my gosh, that was
But
amazing.
you know, I might catch it again. Who knows? You know, I doubt it, but I might catch it again.
Don't you want to find out what happens on the next episode?
Well, and here's the thing today. You know, it's so funny because you know you picked that show for me, and then I'm going through and I'm looking. You know, first of all, we were talking earlier about the gentleman that passed away, the Black Panther.
Yeah.
Chadwick Boseman. And I was reading TMZ, and I happened to come across an article where it says, Chloe and Tristan are back together.
Oh my God, it's gonna suck you in now.
I know it.
You're hooked.
Scott Disick appears to have accidentally confirmed Khloe Kardashian and Tristan Thompson are back together.
Oh
Oops.
man, Scott, why would you do that?
He spilled the beans on Friday when he commented on Khloe's bikini pic on Instagram and wrote, "Real Tristan 13 is a lucky man."
Oh man, Scott's ruining it.
That's what it says. Scott must have quickly realized he spilled the beans because he was quick to delete it.
Come on, Scott, pull it together.
So as we reported, Chloe and Tristan have hung out a lot in recent months, and they've been quarantining together off and on since the lockdown. She and the rest of the family have also headed to his pad in L.A. to celebrate on the 4th of July weekend. Tristan's been hanging out with Chloe and her fam for a bit now, all but indicating they have given their relationship another go-round.
Oh, that's good.
And here it is right here. I don't know if you can see this or not right here, but there's the big picture right there of what you see here.
Oh yeah, there it is. For all of you that are listening or watching this, Scott Disick is actually the father of and lover or former lover or whatever it is now to one of the Kardashians, I believe Kourtney. So yeah.
Well, good for him. Lucky man to be in that family, let me tell you.
Yep.
Kanye has control. I mean, I was really surprised at Kanye. I always thought he was kind of crazy, especially after what he did to Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Over Beyonce.
You know, some of it may be a struggle that he has mentally. Some of it may just be, for the paparazzi. It's hard to tell with him, I do feel like he's got some struggles, and hopefully it doesn't get the better of him.
Well, he's running for president,
in his career. No, the birthday party. Yeah, I know. I'm excited. I can't wait to see what happens in November. I literally cannot.
We'll see what happens. So he can't get in some states though. He's they closed the getting in on the ballot in some states, but he is on the ballot in states.
I know.
States, so.
I know. So, anyways, that's the show.
It was very interesting. Very interesting indeed.
Yeah. That's good. That's really good. All right. Well, thank you for tuning in. If you guys have any ideas for future episodes, like maybe you want us to watch something specifically and comment on it, we could do that. New artists, we're always up to looking for new artists. I have some, Kevin, that I'll share with you here in the next week or two, and we could see if we could bring them on. And we have some other guests that we are working on. I believe you have a very special guest from Japan, right?
I do. We talked about we were talking about Led Zeppelin earlier.
Yeah, my boys.
I got a text from one of the. Let me go here. Look it up now. And
we got fans internationally. We're excited.
We do. We have. They reached out to us actually on this whole thing, and I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I agreed to bring them on, and you already knew about this whole thing, evidently.
Yeah.
Or you've heard of this person before.
Yes, I have.
I had not heard of this person before.
Oh, really?
No.
Yeah.
But it sounds like it will be a great show because this person has actually played with John Bonham, or Jason Bonham. I'm sorry, from John Bonham's son from Led Zeppelin, and that's an interesting fact about this. I'm looking through my here. Mm-hmm. The lady's name is Sandy Oba. She texted me. She said that she wanted to know if we would like to interview Mr. Jimmy.
Absolutely.
He has a new movie out. And he's making an international film, which is making the international film circuit right now, was winning some awards even. And Jim Sakurai, is that how you say that?
Jimmy Sakurai.
Jimmy Sakurai, okay.
Yeah.
Who's had his own band, Mr. Jimmy, has been a guitarist for Jason Bonham of Led Zeppelin and Evening since 2017.
Yeah, so spoiler alert, Jimmy Sakurai is probably one of the best Jimmy Page tribute artists in the world. And, you know, in Japan or in Asia, he's probably the best. But as far as the world goes, he is one of the best. And for him to be a fan of our show and want to come on, yes,
it's not only going to be him. We're going to talk about the movie, Mr. Jimmy. And we're going to actually have the director and the producers of the show, Peter and Dowd, on hopefully too.
Yeah, which is super exciting. I mean, let's help promote it. You know,
because
I'll watch it.
Peter followed him over 3 years.
Do I get a free copy? I want a free copy.
Hope that'd be great. That would be great, wouldn't it? But it's called Mr. Jimmy, the Revival of Led Zeppelin. You can check it out because we are going to interview this gentleman. He's in Japan right now, but we're going to work that out and get the details and how we can get him in here and get a translator.
Sure.
We'll have to get a translator in here too, probably, to do the
Absolutely.
whole thing. It's going to be cool though. We do a lot of this stuff, and we're going to have other tribute bands on here as well too in the future.
So we're working on some guests, but until they're confirmed, I don't want to give away anything yet. Not just a tribute artist, but other people as well. So
exactly.
So just stand by on that. But you can always email us at koacpodcast@gmail.com. koacpodcast@gmail.com. There's a Facebook page, facebook.com/the best podcast ever. That's easy to remember. And then YouTube, Kevin and Andrew have a podcast. You can also just type in Kevin and Andrew keywords on iHeartRadio or Spotify, Google or Apple Podcasts, and we will show up too. We have the really cool purple 80s style sunset logo icon. You can't miss it. It's the only one.
We're very 80s here.
We're very 80s. Very 80s because it's cool. What else? What else do we have? Twitter.
I think that's it. I think we're doing good. Yeah, we got the Twitter. You got the Twitter. What's your Twitter?
KOAC Podcast.
Right.
You can also tweet me directly on air, Andrew.
And L4 Monty for me.
L4 Monty.
L4 MONTY.
Yep, there it is right there on Twitter as well. So try to hit us up. Let us know what you want. Obviously, we do respond. I was corrected about a Lego built
I don't respond. I'm on protest. I do not respond to anybody or anything. I will not respond. I'm still getting paid, though, whether I respond or not.
If you guys correct me, obviously, I will give you that spotlight or
I'm going to correct you, all right. I'm going to find me a Lego house.
I'm just saying, I am man enough to admit that I am wrong about a small child whose grandfather tweeted or posted about him building a replica of the White House and putting it in the Oval Office to share with world leaders around the world. I was wrong.
But you're not a big enough man to admit that you're wrong about the protest thing.
Because there's no wrong. There's no wrong there. You just have a different way of looking at what I say is true. That's all.
It's all good. Whatever. Well, it's all good. It's all good.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week. That's Kevin O'Neill. I'm Andrew Caravella. Take care. Stay safe. Be good.
We're so happy you joined us as Kevin and Andrew have a podcast. That's right. Episode 13.
Spread the love. Later.
God bless you guys. See ya.